welcome to yet another episode of I bought this in Japan an embarrassingly long time ago and I'm just now using it for the first time. Whoops. This time, the Studio Ghibli Museum Edition. This is the watercolor set that you can buy at the Studio Ghibli Museum in Japan, which I was able to snag earlier this year. Very lucky to do so because of what's going on. Also, tickets can be very hard to get, so I was very excited to finally get this set. So in today's video, I am going to be showing you guys what is included in this watercolor set, and then we are going to be creating some art with it. So let's get into it. All right, let's take out our watercolor set, which as you can see comes in this very simple canvas bag. It's a decent size. It doesn't seem too big. It doesn't seem too small, just big enough to put your watercolors and any other supplies you might need inside of it. The only decorations on this canvas bag are the Studio Ghibli Museum logo with this almost cat bus-like character. And then we also have it here on a smaller tag. So very simple, very cute. I should also probably mention that the price of this watercolor set comes to 7,000 yen, which is about 70 US dollars, which is an absolute steal because the watercolor set alone, if you were to buy them in the US, is 75 to 100 US dollars. So already it's quite a bargain. So the first thing we get in this set is going to be this adorable pamphlet sort of giving you a beginner's guide, some tips and tricks on how to use watercolors, how to use this set to its best ability, and can we just talk about how absolutely adorable this guide is? Full of illustrations, they're beautiful, they're cute, they're adorable, they're informative. They're informative if you can speak Japanese, but luckily there are some translations online. Some tips included are to not overfill your brush to where it's dripping, useful ways to set up your color palette, the suggestion of singeing the tip of your new watercolor brush, which, oh my gosh, is new to me. Can't wait to try that one. As terrifying as that one is, I think I'm gonna try it out. I'm curious. All right, let's move on to the actual art supplies. First things first, we of course have our 24 pack of Holbein watercolors. So let's go ahead and open it up. There seems to be quite a variety of warm colors. We have a lot of blues, lots of earthy colors. So I'm super excited to swatch these and see what we can create with them. Next up in the set, we have a watercolor palette. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that up. So this is a little sad. Our palette can only hold 18 colors, but we got 24 watercolors. So here are sections where you can put your paints. Here are sections where you can mix your paints. You can put your paint brushes there to hold them, and this little hole so that you can hold your palette if you want to paint. So that's really cute, and we'll be using that later. Next up we have, we have our tools. So our set comes with a brush and a pencil. We've got this 2B Mitsubishi pencil and this watercolor brush. I don't know what brand it is. A couple things left. We've got our drawing book. We have an F0 Homo drawing book with a cute little tie to keep it closed, some watercolor paper. I actually bought one of these while I was in Japan, so I'm very familiar. It's a very good watercolor book. The perfect little travel size. And I think we only have one thing left. Oh, here it is. We have a pencil sharpener, folks. So that is everything for the unboxing portion of this video. That is everything that comes in the Studio Ghibli Museum watercolor set. I think now we are going to get creative. What are we drawing, you ask? Well, because this is the Studio Ghibli watercolor set, I thought it would be really fun to recreate some scenes from Studio Ghibli scenes, but in my style. So I'm going to pick out a few scenes to draw, sketch them out, and then we'll get to painting. Here we go. I cannot believe I'm doing this. Apparently it's good to get rid of the loose ends. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that was scary, but I don't know. Now we have like a singed little tip to our brush. I kind of like how it was nice and tippy, but now we've got something a little bit more burnt. Oh my gosh. Did I do that wrong? Maybe. After putting our paints into the palette, it was time for my favorite part, swatching the colors, and I absolutely love this palette, especially all of the blues. Studio Ghibli must love that part because all of their flying scenes. Which brings us to our first redraw, Spirited Away. When it came to deciding which screenshot to redraw for these films, it was really hard to decide, but with Spirited Away, the main thing I wanted to do was recreate this really smooth, sleek, long dragon into a very lumpy, silly, goofy looking dragon. More and more these days, I'm really embracing the silly, fun aspect into my art, so as serious and grumpy as this dragon looks, I just really wanted to make it look fun and silly. There were two other scenes I was thinking about drawing, the first just being a closer up version of the scene and the other one being the river spirit all gooped up. That one alone did have its own humor to it, which I thought would be really fun to recreate in my style, but in the end I did really like the composition of the dragon, and I also just really wanted to draw a lumpy, silly looking dragon. So the first thing I did with this piece was actually lay down a very light layer of blue across the whole piece. I don't normally do this, but when I looked at the screenshot, I just felt like this piece had an overall blueness, obviously because of the lighting. I don't normally take into consideration the lighting when it comes to things like this because my art style is so simple and I do like to keep things a little bit more, well, simple. But when I was thinking about mixing the colors, I was like, well, I can either add blue to everything or I can just put a layer of blue across the whole page. So that is what I ended up doing. And the most intimidating part about this particular piece was the layering of the sky, which admittedly does not look the best. It is very splotchy and blotchy and not the smoothest. But these days I'm really trying to embrace the texture of traditional art and the imperfections and the fact that it will never be perfect. So even though it did bother me, I tried not to let it bother me. And once the sky was colored, it was pretty much smooth sailing with the rest of the parts. Though I do kind of regret working so small with this piece just because it's not like it's very detailed, but the small amount of detail that there is with the characters being all clustered together, I kind of felt restrained a little bit. Other than that, this one turned out really fun. I think my favorite part is the clouds. I just love a simple lineless cloud, especially contrasting the line work of a character. And then I added some stars. So that is it. That is our first Ghibli screenshot redraw. And of course, enjoy this painter's tape peel porn. Screenshot redraw is going to be from the movie Ponyo, and I feel like this one is going to be a very good fit for my style. This movie in particular was a lot more on the simple side compared to the normal Studio Ghibli movie styles. It's also very bright and colorful, which I've kind of been in the mood for lately, so I was very much looking forward to drawing this one. Obviously, the first scene to choose from is going to be the very classic scene at the very end of the movie. I mean, the literal last frame of the movie is this. But I did want to keep my options open, so I also wanted to try to sketch out the scene where Ponyo is running on top of the fish water because it's just such a fun scene. The fish looks so stupid and it's just iconic. So I did want to see how that one would lay out, but in the end, I wanted to go with our classic ending movie scene. And gosh, I absolutely enjoyed drawing this piece. I don't know if it's just because my style is very simple and it's very similar to this movie. Not that my style is similar to the style of the movie, but compared to the other Studio Ghibli movies, I think the round simpleness is something that I can really relate to with my art. So going into this one, I was very excited. It's just very cute and simple and colorful and fun. And I think it translated well. Obviously, our styles are very different, so it was really fun to put this scene into my style and how I approach things like angles and shapes, hands. I think the biggest or the only change that I made in this scene scene is that the characters are looking at each other and you see their profile completely side view. But I do have their faces tilted just a little bit just because, I don't know, I think I just really like to, even though their heads are suggested to be profile, I really like to put both eyeballs on the side of the face and then I put their nose on there. So it's a little different of an angle, but I think it turned out really cute, really fun. Obviously represents my style very well. This is definitely the best redraw out of the batch in this video, and even though Ponyo isn't my favorite movie, I do have a fond memory of it actually. When Dave and I met for the very first time, if you don't know my husband, we're married, obviously, but we came from a long distance relationship. I'm talking 7+ years, and the very first time that we met in real life, we actually went and saw Ponyo in theaters. So I kind of have this fondness with this movie. Even though it's not my favorite, every time I watch it, I think about the very first time that I ever met my husband. Oh, and even though there aren't birds in this scene, I had to add my classic silly birds in the background. So that's that for our Ponyo redraw. For our last screenshot redraw, we are going to a classic. Yes, I could not forget My Neighbor Totoro. This scene has been memed, it has been pop cultured, it has been everything, and obviously I had to join in. But of course, I did want to try sketching a few other scenes that I really enjoyed from the movie. So I have Totoro on top of the tree, and then we have Mei being silly. A lot of these include Mei. I also thought about redrawing the scene where Mei sticks her finger in the wall and all of the dust bunnies just blow up in her face, because that scene is just so silly. But of course, I had to go with the classic. To be honest, redrawing this scene was quite a struggle. The pencil work and ink work itself was the easy part. I really enjoyed stylizing these characters. It's just so fun to see such a beloved art style and just movie in general be put to my style. It kind of feels wrong, but also it's just really fun to see it come together in a way that I would draw it. Oh, and obviously something that I do include in all of these screenshots is my white border around the illustration and the illustration breaking that border. In general, I wanted to put a white border on these illustrations just because I thought that that would look nice, and that was it. But once I started putting the illustrations into this white border and realized that breaking the border is definitely a huge characteristic of my art style, it was perfect for all three of these pieces. So that alone was really fun. I enjoyed that process, but when it came to painting, oh boy. And to be honest, painting a lot of these scenes I actually struggled a lot with. I think I haven't been using watercolor as much as I used to. I've definitely been going digital and using Posca pens a lot lately, so I don't know if I'm just kind of out of practice of using my watercolors or what, but I really struggled with using them, but that's no excuse. So I don't know. All three of these screenshots had a lovely flat wash of color in the background, and I just goofed all of them. I don't know what it is. I just wasn't on my watercolor game, and it was kind of a struggle. I also kind of struggled with mixing colors throughout this video. Again, I don't know if it's because I'm out of practice with watercolors, or if there was something to do with the selection of colors with this palette. I do really enjoy the colors of this palette, or maybe, like I said, I was just off of my game. But either way, this one turned out just a little bit wonky when it came to colors, and especially when it came to painting the background. I just kind of felt lost, and overall, I don't know that it really represents my style of background. It was kind of a mess. I feel like I kind of panicked and just kind of threw something down, and this is the worst one of the batch. But when it came to the characters of this illustration, which is the main focus, I really enjoyed this piece. So if we can just focus on the characters, don't look at the background, and we're good. Okay, that is it. That is our last screenshot redraw. That is that for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Studio Ghibli Museum watercolor set unboxing. and redraw challenge. And hey, let me know in the comments which Studio Ghibli movie is your favorite. All right guys, I'll see you in the next video. Stay golden. Bye. But I can't end the video without first thanking our lovely patrons for all the support. You guys are seriously the best. If you want to get early access to my videos, secret sketches, coloring pages, and more, check out the link to Patreon in the description. Thank you guys all seriously so much for the support. Bye.